Hello, there's more, there's more. There's so much more. There's so much that we haven't said yet, and now it can be said because I have embodied language, and yes, I have so much to say. Those who discover their own ongoing embodied language, they will make many astonishing remarks about the lives of those who unknowingly are all stuck in disembodied language. For instance, they will say that everyone with disembodied language is just living a superficial, unsatisfying, meaningless life. Yeah, that's what I say about you with your disembodied language. Moreover, their recognition of everyone with disembodied language, recognition, rejection also, the rejection of everyone. I read myself wrong, but it is also recognition because you identify it, you discriminate it. So it is both recognition as well as rejection of everyone with their disembodied language, is because they are understanding, they are happy, and they are truthful. So when I say something about people, their disembodied language, it is my happiness that speaks. It's my truthfulness that speaks. It's my understanding that speaks. And I acknowledge that disembodied language exists. I'm not going to beat around the bush. So therefore, there's no negativity in their refusal to be part of disembodied language that is going on everywhere. There's no negativity in me refusing to be part of your disembodied language. No, there isn't. Furthermore, they enjoy being alone, and they don't feel like they miss out on anything, as they prefer their aloneness over the chaotic, stressful, and unhealthy atmosphere which is always created by disembodied language. And yes, I must say again, for those people that haven't heard me yet, disembodied language is the way of talking in which people do not listen to themselves while they speak. Embodied language, as I have, is a way of talking in which a speaker hears himself, hears herself. And so, when you hear yourself while you speak like I do, you recognize there's a difference between embodied language and disembodied language. And yes, disembodied language is everywhere, and embodied language is seldom heard of, if we have ever heard of it at all. And that's why it is so rare. And that's why nobody knows about it. But I do. And so I have a lot to say about it. Anyway, I just want to speak in this writing. I just want to repeat what I've said, because I speak on behalf of those who engage in embodied language like me. So I speak about us. I speak about someone who is like me, who engages in embodied language. So just sit back, relax, let me talk, and let me tell you what I know. So those who discover their own embodied language, if that is you, I hope, that you are going to talk with yourself and that you're going to say, oh my gosh, I'm listening to myself now. Now I can say things which I couldn't say before. You couldn't say what you wanted to say with your disembodied language. So now, as you discover your embodied language, you're going to be able to say things which will surprise you, which are new, which are revealing, which are relieving, which are liberating. Because yes, you listen to yourself while you speak, and that is now making your disagreement with disembodied language possible. So those who discover their own embodied language, they will make astonishing remarks about the lives of those who unknowingly are still stuck in disembodied language. Even if you just for a little bit begin to listen to yourself while you speak, you will be making these remarks. You will realize that everybody is not listening to themselves. And you will be amazed that this is how everybody talks. And that nobody talks about having embodied language. That is just so bizarre that we do not talk about this. That we use our language incorrectly in such a way that we are again and again involved in disembodied language without even realizing it, without realizing that we're not listening to ourselves while we speak. So, yeah, you're going to say that. You're going to acknowledge that. You're going to also, just like me, be critical of disembodied language. Or actually, you're not even being critical. You're saying it as it is. And it is not even a criticism. It is just a correct description of what it is. Disembodied language is forceful. Disembodied language is manipulative. Disembodied language is aggressive. It is negative. It is insidious. It is cruel. It is forceful. It is violent. It is incendiary. That's all part of disembodied language. There's no peace in disembodied language. There's no rest. There's no tranquility. There's no grace. There's nothing. There's no beauty. It's all just muffled. It is all just truncated. It's all just chaotic and forced and acted and artificial. There's no spontaneity. There's no liveliness. You're not really alive when you are not listening to yourself while you speak. So you are going to be just like me if you engage in embodied language, and you are going to not anymore want to have any part of disembodied language. Yeah. It's like recovering from some sort of what is it? Psychosis, or what is it? Some sort of indoctrination. You've believed in it for so long, and now you are out of it because you're listening to yourself while you speak. And you're speaking with yourself, obviously. So those who discover their own embodied language, they will make astonishing remarks about the lives of those who unknowingly are still stuck in disembodied language. Absolutely. For instance, they will say that everyone with disembodied language is just living a superficial, unsatisfying, meaningless life. Yeah. Because you are all of a sudden feeling you are in contact with yourself. And you realize you cannot be in contact with yourself with the disembodied language that everyone is involved in. Moreover, their rejection, because you will be rejecting disembodied language. Once you have embodied language, you're not having disembodied language. So disembodied language is discontinuous with embodied language. You can only have embodied language after disembodied language has been acknowledged and stopped. So you reject disembodied language, not because you're judging it, no, because you are out of it, because you have now embodied language. You cannot do these two at the same time. So it's up to you to actually acknowledge this and to begin to say like, oh my gosh, so there are absolutes. Yes, absolute. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. That's right. And there's an absolute also that you cannot have embodied language and disembodied language simultaneously. You either have one or the other. You either listen to yourself or you don't. And once you begin to listen to yourself, you realize that you always were unknowingly involved in disembodied language. So only after you come out of it, you realize like, oh, I was in disembodied language. Yeah. So, okay, you're listening to yourself, you're out of it. Good. Moreover, their rejection of everyone with disembodied language is because they are understanding, they are happy, they are truthful. Therefore, there is no negativity in their refusal to be part of the disembodied language that is going on everywhere. Furthermore, they enjoy being alone and they don't miss out on anything, as they prefer their aloneness over the chaotic, stressful, and unhealthy atmosphere which is always created by disembodied language. Their well-being stands in stark contrast to all the ill will that goes hand in hand with the competitive, restless, and relentless disembodied language. Yeah? I am right about my life being better than the life of anyone else who doesn't know about the distinction between disembodied language and embodied language. Yes, my life is better. Absolutely, I can see it, I acknowledge it, and I am unashamed about it. Of course, everyone could know about everything I know. Everyone could start talking with themselves and listen to themselves. Everyone can acknowledge that there's a difference between how you deal with your language when you listen to yourself and when you don't. When you do what everybody else does and when you actually do what you want to do, because that's a weird thing. Initially, it seems like, oh, I'm going against the grain. But then you realize like, no, it's what I want. It's what I always wanted. That's what your embodied language is. Yeah. It's what you always wanted and what you were never allowed. And what you never allowed yourself to have. So it is no secret that people can have embodied language. And all my writings and all my videos, they are easily available to everyone. Yet, people continue with their interest in all sorts of hyped up nonsense. Yeah. Rather than feeling sad or unaccepted, I am proud and certain that I know what is going on, while everyone with disembodied language doesn't have a clue about what they are doing and why they are failing themselves completely. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You are failing yourself completely with your disembodied language. Another peculiar aspect of my ongoing embodied language is that I don't care about others anymore, and I realize that I actually never did. But I didn't fully allow myself, as I was always having the hope that one day we would all be having embodied language together. Isn't that something? This self-defeating attitude has now finally left me. After I quit teaching psychology and basically gave up on feeling responsible for telling people about the embodied language distinction. You had disembodied language and embodied language distinction. So even though I'm making this video, I give a rat's ass about whether you get it or not. I couldn't care less. I just do this because I like to do this. I do this because I enjoy writing this. Yeah, I wrote this morning and I enjoy reading this. And it is also kind of like a continuation of something that I was addressing yesterday, and I like to just continue with it. I'm unstoppable. I'm on steroids. No, I'm not. I'm just happy. I just like to do this. And so this is not teaching. Don't consider this teaching. You have to do work. You have to do a lot. I don't do anything for anyone. So I've left my self-defeating attitude that I was going to teach the world about embodied language. I no longer do that. No. And I have been a psychology instructor. I have been studying psychology. At one point, I believed that I was going to be a psychology. Well, I don't believe in God, but thank God anyway for that I didn't become a psychology. That would have been disastrous. I'm so glad that I just became what I am today. Oh man. And I'm surprised how vindicated I feel about the misery and the conflicts of others. Yes, I feel vindicated because because I don't listen to anyone with disembodied language. I don't. You know, people have always, when I since I was a child, they have always told me that I wasn't listening. But now it all makes sense. I've never wanted to listen to anyone with disembodied language. And I don't have any problems that other people that oh I don't have any problems that other people are having because of their disembodied language. Yeah, I don't have these problems. And to me, everyone with disembodied language is simply acting stupid. Yeah, so that's how I look at it now. And you find your bed as you make it. You are responsible for yourself. In disembodied language, a speaker wants other listeners. In disembodied language, a speaker wants others to listen to him or to her. And they want others to understand them, to accept them, to praise them, to love them, to admire them. But I don't care about not being popular. I'm just being me. As a matter of fact, it is totally clear to me why things couldn't be otherwise. And I am perfectly at ease with how my life is now unfolding with my ongoing embodied language in the clarity which I call my language enlightenment. Yeah, this is my ongoing embodied language, is my language enlightenment. So, yeah, I don't need your praise. I don't need your love, your admiration. I don't need your acceptance. No, I don't need it. I don't need your understanding. I already understand myself. And I don't care about not being popular. As a matter of fact, it is totally clear to me why things couldn't be otherwise. Yeah, things are exactly as they should be, according to me. And I am totally at ease with how my life with my ongoing embodied language is unfolding in the clarity which I call my language enlightenment. Yeah, I'm reminded of the many blissful moments I've experienced in the past, yes, because I have had many, yeah, you could say, moments where I was sort of feeling this, right? And, in these moments in the past, I suddenly was shocked. I was shocked. I was stunned. I was surprised. I was overcome by a feeling like, how could all this happen to me? Because my life, it suddenly felt so incredibly good. In spite of my problems. A person who has so many problems like me should be feeling terrible, but I was just feeling great. It is kind of a paradox. But it was really true. So the absence of problems, yeah, that is what I'm feeling right now. The absence of problems strangely still feels as if something is missing. That was there for a long time. Yeah, paradoxically, my problems, they already began to disappear when I began talking out loud with myself. That was somewhere in my early 20s. Yeah, ever since I've started that talking with myself and listening to myself. Oh, look what Buddy does. He's sitting on his pole. Do you see him? Buddy, come. This is so cute. He's also excited when I'm excited. Here, let's come and have him sit next to me. Hi, Bucky. You're happy, huh? Yeah. He wants little snacks. That's what he wants. He wants to beg for snacks. That's what he's doing. I know his tricks. Anyway, paradoxically, my problems. Oh yeah, no, it still feels as if something is missing because I don't have any problems. Isn't that something? Yeah. And these problems, they already began to dissolve in my early 20s. So my life was really not such a tragedy as I often made it out to be. It is amazing. Anyway, yeah, I am full of myself, and I and I'm really happy about it. Stated differently, oh, this is why this writing is so important. Stated differently, I've always downplayed my own happiness. That's right. And I'm not the only one. Many people have told me that you are lucky. They told me, oh, you are so lucky. Yeah. But that's not how I view myself. No. I have what I have because I chose to have it. My life is what it is because of my embodied language. When others express their jealousy to me, because that's always what it is, it's always jealousy. They're comparing themselves with me and they say, oh, you're so happy, you're so full of life, you always have energy, you're always positive. Yeah, people have been saying that forever to me. And there's no coincidence there because I have always, of course, been me. Yeah, somewhat burdened by the disembodied language that is always surrounding me. But nevertheless, I've always been in favor of embodied language, even though, yeah, I've only recently, truly, you could say, acknowledged that, that I was always right. Anyway, going back to my writing here. I have what I have because I chose to have it. My life is what it is because of my embodied language. And when others express their jealousy to me because they're stuck with their misery, they're all having all these problems, I don't have that. When they express their jealousy to me, it is because they are ignorant about themselves. Yeah, how can you know yourself? How can you be in touch with yourself? How can you be happy with yourself if you do not listen to yourself? It's impossible. And to expect otherwise is unrealistic. It's dumb. So you better get started. With disembodied language, they have remained a stranger to themselves. Yeah, I'm no stranger to myself. I love myself. And I am me. So there's no me loving me. There's just love. I just feel love. Is that okay with you? Yeah, I know that's overwhelming. I know, but that's just how I roll. Those who may claim to know themselves, yeah, oh, there's so many people. There are psychiatrists, there's psychologists, there are therapists, yeah. People know themselves. Oh, yeah, they have a big story to tell because they're so important, and oh my God, they're all over the place. Yeah, people who claim to know themselves, oh yeah, they're so on top of it, they're so powerful, they're so important. But they know themselves with their disembodied language. And they mistake what they're hanging on to for dear life, yeah, because they're afraid to let it go. They mistake what they're hanging on to for knowledge. Yeah. To me, they are carrying a heavy burden, as they are unable to let go. They are so tight. They have such a tight grip. Yeah, their tight grip, their defense, their struggle, their pretension, their exaggeration, their emptiness, their stupidity, their futility, their bombastic, grotesque, grandiose claims, and their total lack of humor, it is all theirs. It's not mine. A while ago, I came up with a new saying. It's never too late to hate. I would say that my hatred of disembodied language is actually a very positive thing. I love to hate disembodied language. And quite frankly, I have been loving it as long as I can remember. Although I have been punished for it many times, because, you're not supposed to say this, I know. My virulent hatred for disembodied language has only increased. Lucky me. I guess you could call it my passion. I hate with a passion. I would also like to let everyone know how much fun it is to be able to say no to all the bullshit that goes on in the name of our usual way of talking, in which listening to others presumably is more important than listening to ourselves. Of course, there wouldn't be any listening to ourselves if we weren't listening to our... Oh, wait. Okay, wait. I get carried away. I know, that happens sometimes. Wait, here we go. Oh yeah, so I was talking about the people who are claiming to know themselves and they are just hanging on to, their so-called knowledge, To me, they are just carrying a heavy burden, as they are unable to let go. Okay. Their tight grip, their defense, their struggle, their pretension, their exaggeration, their emptiness, their stupidity, their futility, and their lack of humor is all theirs, not mine. A while ago, I came up with a new saying. It's never too late to hate. I would say that my hatred of disembodied language is a very positive thing. I love to hate disembodied language. And quite frankly, I've been loving it as long as I can remember. Although I have been punished for it many times, my virulent hatred for disembodied language has only increased. I guess you could say it is my passion. I would also like to let everyone know how much fun it is to be able to say no to all the bullshit that goes on in the name of our usual way of talking, in which listening to others presumably is more important than listening to ourselves. Of course, there wouldn't be any listening to ourselves if we weren't listening to ourselves. There wouldn't be any listening to ourselves if we weren't listening to ourselves, and we wouldn't be talking with ourselves unless we stop talking with others, and engage in that boring, tedious, repetitive, forceful, disembodied language. So you are not talking with yourself. You are not listening to yourself. You cannot listen to yourself because you're not talking with yourself. And you're only going to listen to yourself if you're going to talk with yourself. And if you don't do that, then you keep listening to others. You keep listening to me or to somebody else. Maybe listening to me is not as harmful, I hope. But it may also mess you up completely, of course, because I say something that goes against the grain. Yeah, it goes against disembodied language. Well, don't you get it yet? Yes. So, of course, there wouldn't be any listening to ourselves. That's a weird sentence. Of course, there wouldn't be any listening to ourselves if we weren't listening to ourselves. We wouldn't be talking with ourselves unless we stop talking with others. You wouldn't be talking. So you must somehow be thrown out of that conversation with others, right? That is my luck in my life, if I have any luck at all. I was lucky to be always rejected by everybody. I got tossed out of the disembodied language conversation, which I find tedious, boring, repetitive, and forceful and unpleasant anyway. I am free, but those with disembodied language, they aren't. They can't be. Only if they stop their own disembodied language will they have a chance to find out about their embodied language. And this is not because I've made it so. It is because of, now I'm going to say something really deep. It is about my mortality that tells me this. Yeah. I am 66 years old. You may not believe it, but I am. And I don't have eternal life. I know. And I can also just, be gone at some point, and I will. But We're all going to die one day, and I am well aware of my, yeah, transience, transience, the transience of life or whatever. I'm not afraid of that because my embodied language makes me express and accept the reality of my wonderful life. That's what I do. That's what I express. In embodied language, everything comes to an end. Yeah, when you begin to express what is in your attention, what asks your attention, what demands your attention, you just find out for yourself that whatever it is that you express with your embodied language, it just dissolves. And so that process of dying to yourself, dying to whatever you believe to be, or I don't know, they believe to know, and it's all just such a drag. You are going to dissolve in your embodied language one way or another, if you're ever going to get to it. So, but in disembodied language, all the tragedy just keeps on going on. It keeps piling on. It just keeps getting worse. That's why people say when they die, may he or she rest in peace. Yeah, finally, not in life. Now I'm already resting. I'm already having a good time. I'm already enjoying eternal bliss with my embodied language. So, last sentence, yeah. If you feel that I'm talking with you, you are actually on the path of embodied language.